it's not gonna be a story about winning a gold medal, even though Christoph Bogart from the Czech team won 2 of them. Today it's gonna be a story about how it can all go wrong despite all the preparation and training. And it's Nida's story.
Okay, let's take it from the beginning. When we wrote the training maps similar to those which were used, I knew that my biggest chances are in the middle distance, because I was so unable to map nor ride in the rocky terrains nearby Falun. The most important thing to know was that we weren't allowed to leave the tracks. I was pretty happy that the organizers decided to mark the unclear places in the terrain with the tape, so it was more clear whether you can ride there or not.
Middle distance. Never give up a race, not even slow down.
The terrain was really fast, but if there was a sand, it was much slower. I decided to rather go around the sandy hills. The first bigger route choice was to the third control, where I missed the crossing first, and then, while riding, I decided to change my route choice. This is almost never a good idea. It was faster through the hills, like Christoph did. Jan Hašek was going around and lost just 5 seconds. On this control, I already lost half a minute. Next complicated control was the 5th one. I thought that if I push hard, I wouldn't lose much going around and will have enough space to think about the next controls. Well, I was wrong. I lost 50 seconds on this control. The best route choice was from the left side. The plus 10-second route choice was going a bit more from the right. At this time, I was 25th and already losing 1 minute and 20 seconds. But you should never give up a race, not even slow down. If nothing, it's always good at training. So I kept pushing hard, and at the end I finished on the 4th position, just some 20 seconds behind the second one and 2 minutes behind Christoph Bogart, the new world champion in the middle distance.
Finished the first of 5 medal ceremonies, and we will...
One mishap happened during the middle distance, and we want to talk about it so every competitor knows what to do if it happens to them. It was right after control number 20 in men's elite. It's normal that competitors are confused during the race, take a wrong direction and create sort of a new path in a high grass. And then more and more competitors are confused there. That's probably what happened on this open land. But some of the riders were disqualified and some of them not. As you can see in the GPSs, some of the riders came back and some of them didn't. As shortcutting guidelines advise, if competitor takes a shortcut, realizes error and reverse route without causing any damage, he or she shouldn't be disqualified. So if it happens that you take a shortcut someday, just came back the way you arrived and you're probably good. The final decision is up to event advisor or jury in case of protest, but by this is the most safe way how not to be disqualified. If you want to read through the guidelines, we'll put the link in the description. Relay. Never give up a race, even if you have mechanical problems.
Last year in Finland, unfortunately both Czechman races had a mispunch, so this year the main task was to check the control codes twice. Because the performance of Jan Hašek was outstanding the other day in the same terrain, he was 3rd in the middle distance, he got a spot in the first leg of the first relay. It was definitely a good choice. Right after the start, he got into the first spot, and without any bigger mistake, he was handing me the relay on the first position. My job was not to lose contact with the head of the race or finish first with some gap behind me, so Christoph Bogart can do his race with peace in mind. I started quite okay, but to the 9th control there was an extra path which wasn't on the map. I thought I was further, so when the path didn't start turn left, I believe we were even more further and that we'll approach the control from the other side. Well, I was wrong. Some 300 meters later, we started to reverse But yeah, by this mistake I lost few spots and was on the 6th position. But the day wasn't over yet. Yay!
Ty vole, kurva, co to je? Do prdele. No, a to jsem v prdeli. Prdele! Jaký shooter potřebuju? A nářadí. Hop, 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 hop. Kurva, dělej. Dělej. Do píči. No, co to je máte z druhé strany? Takhle. Tady. Do píči, to je v prdeli tohle. Ještě tady ten zkusím. A to je... No, tak uvidíme, no. Do prdele. To je teda škoda. Třeba nějaký středka, co ty?
I managed to hit some rock hidden in the grass with my chainring. First I thought that just the chain fell down, but then the chain dropped again after the first crank turn, so I knew I was in serious trouble. Desire not to give up a relay is strong, and creativity how to repair this problem was very high, as you can see. On the asphalt road, I find out that I can put in higher gears, otherwise my chain will drop down. So I had to ride the runway with high cadency of around 130 and let other riders pass me. At that time I was around 12th position, but thanks to the lower speed I managed not to make many mistakes and was handing the relay to Krzysztof Bogar on the 6th position after all. Krzysztof was doing well in the forest, and just before the spectator control he was fighting for the silver medal. But sadly then he made a mistake and it was some sort of bittersweet bronze for us. Great coincidence was that all the bronze medals went to the Czech Republic this time.
Long distance. Try everything you can and then give up.
With the new chainring, cassette and chain, I was looking forward to the long distance. I planned to begin the race in a slow pace, so I won't do any stupid mistakes, and that worked quite well for me for the first control, where I caught Luca Della Valle by 2 minutes. But sadly, that was where all the good ended for me that day. I missed the path to the second control, and when I came back to the crossing, I couldn't find it anyways. I knew which direction it should be, I saw the forest in the distance, but the path just wasn't there. And that, in combination with forbidden off-track riding, is a huge problem. In my opinion, they should mark the path in the terrain, or at least map it as indistinct junction. As you can see, I wasn't the only one who got pretty confused there. To the third control, I made mistake as well, and just after that, I somehow cut my tire. On the long distance, problem number 1 was cut tire. Problem number 2 was broken valve. Problem number 3 was hole in the in the tube, and this was the end of the race for me. Because the sprint and the mass start were in the same area, I decided to take it back through the forest so I could see at least some of the controls others have seen during the race.
While Nide was on his daily walk, a mishap number 2 was being discussed in the arena. Women elite winner Emily Benham-Quale was sketched into a map trap, the only yellow non-raidable place in the whole Finnish area. Apparently there was a high grass before the event, which was the reason for the only yellow spot in the map. But during the event it was all cut down, so there was no difference between this grass and the grass all around. Because there was a protest field, the jury had a lot of work for the whole afternoon. In the end, Emily was not disqualified, and we think it was the right thing to do. In the official conclusion, jury acknowledged flaws in the map and stressed that Emily did not cross it on purpose, and it did not get her any advantage. We know some may not agree, and there are different cases where these arguments would also undisqualify some riders. But as our coach always says, the race should not be an eye test. Sprint distance. Just survive.
After those 3 races, everybody was telling me that all the bad luck is already behind me with all those technical issues I've had in the previous races. And I was hoping for that too. I was the last one starting on a sprint distance. I started quite strong with half-minute mistake on the 4th control, but even in a sprint distance, this still might be a good result. So I kept riding, and then around the 9th control I got pretty confused because the area wasn't mapped well. There were so many extra paths. I think that maybe the symbol of A25 forested area permitted to ride with predominant paths shown could have been used, but it's always hard to map these suburban areas precisely. So I didn't want to risk anything, so I decided to turn back and went to the next control from the left side. And that's where the worst thing on this World Championships happened to me.
Oh my. Shit, man, are you okay? Oh, shit. Oh, man. Fuck it. Oh.
This huge crash with Simon Bradley. I think that this couldn't have been avoided. I mean, none of us made any mistake, and yeah, you cannot ride slowly in this kind of race. After the crash, I was searching for an organizer who was close by. Luckily, both of us were okay, nothing broken or anything. We were kind of lucky that Simon saw me when he was leaving the forest, and he started sliding, so we didn't hit face to face. Simon rode to the finish by himself, and I was taken by the organizer back to the arena. The only bad outcome from this crash was my few months old bike, which got wrecked. I was and still am so upset about it. It's not like that I buy new bike each year. I usually ride it for 3 to 4 years. And this one took me quite a lot of time, money and effort to find and build. It was sort of my dream bike. But it's just a material, and I'm still more lucky than friends of mine whose bikes got stolen in Stockholm just a week ago, so. Here I have to express my appreciation for the whole MTB community. With my bike all wrecked, I was getting offers from teams and individuals to use their spare or even primary bike for the race. Thanks a lot for that. But as long as there was my brother with his bike who wasn't competing, I've already chosen his bike, so if something happens, I wouldn't own anything to anybody outside of the family circle, so thanks a lot, Matti. I just needed to adjust the height of the seat as well as the frontal position, and then I took it for a ride to see if everything works well. Remember how everybody told me that nothing will happen this race, that I've been already unlucky enough? Well, after this, everybody was like, yeah, I'm not sure you should compete tomorrow, you will die most likely. Last day, last start, last chance to break something. The must start. My attitude was to finish and not to destroy anything. Luckily, I was starting from the first row, because otherwise I could have ended up like Mika Nurmi with broken frame from the mustard collision right after the start. At the beginning I was doing quite fine, but then I made a wrong crew choice, and as a cherry on top I had some mechanical issues. On the route my saddle got loosened a bit, so it was pointing with its nose up, so I had to stop and readjust it.
Už si to jo měl.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a free bolt.
Sadly I had just the multi-tool, and because the screws are pretty close to the seat post, it was really hard to screw them properly. After that I kept racing, but I already lost too much. In the mustard every loss doubled because nobody makes such huge mistakes, because we all ride in a contact. In the last loop I made few bad route choices again, but in the downhill I took a different one, and with a strong finish I could at least celebrate the win in the group. The end. Could be better, could be worse. Much better and much worse.
We would like to thank the organizers for making this championship happen in such a beautiful and challenging forest of Sweden.
The arenas were perfect, especially the Lugnet Sports Center. I really enjoyed how the quarantines were handled, with enough space inside and outside.
We can't imagine the amount of work and energy it takes to organize it, and we appreciate very much every organizing team doing this for us, athletes. There were some mistakes which are important to talk about to make it easier or more clear for the future races. But despite them, the championships ran pretty smoothly from our point of view. It was very nice stay in Sweden, and we hope we'll come back soon.
Czech team was pretty successful with 2 golds, 2 silvers, 9 bronze medals and 6 more places within the top 6.
Yay!
Next year we will be happy to welcome everyone in the Czech Republic, where the World Mountain Bike Orienteering Championships 2023 is going to happen. See you there!